Hello everyone, hope you're doing so well, having an amazing week, and welcome to such a video all about the oil paintings I'm working on at the moment. Also, thank you so much for incredible comments on my last video. I know it was a long time ago now, back in the past. The reason being that firstly, I was working on a lot of paintings in January, but I was using some new oil paints that I had not used before, and little did I know that they were actually super slow drying. So like each layer was taking 6 days to dry, so I had nothing to complete and nothing to show you. But I decided to switch back to my old paints, and now I am well on track to finishing a lot this month. And also, if you haven't noticed, because I look terrible, I have the flu. So I do apologise, I look so bad. And so this video might be quite short, because if I start coughing my face off, then I may have to stop filming. Let's see how far I get. So first of all, let me show you the painting that is in the thumbnail, which is of two unicorns. Now I actually have run out of gloves, and these are really disgusting. These are old gloves because my new gloves are coming tomorrow. Anyway, enough of the excuses. So here we go. This is a couple of unicorns in a forest, and I actually have this dream all the time that somewhere out there is a forest full of like magical unicorns, and they live and like drink from streams full of gold coins, and there are like mystical waterfalls and all kinds of things. So I painted a lot of butterflies into this morning, and yeah, I just have like really tiny details to go. Like I really want to add some more flowers here, and also just like elaborate a bit more on the river stream situation. And yeah, and in the background there is actually a castle here. I don't know if you can see because it's quite small, but yeah, I do hope you like it, and this painting will be in my Etsy store because it's nearly finished. And also thank you so much to everyone who's purchased from my store. I will leave a link. The name of my shop is actually Gemma Ramji Art. If you just search me on Etsy, you will find me and all my paintings there. So we have this galleon really riding the wave, the rough sea, like a proper intense storm situation, and maybe like the moon has just come out. And I really love painting ships, but particularly galleons, so galleons of the past. I really do wish that ships still looked like this, because it just looks so incredible to me, particularly in art. Just for the paintings, if only the ships still look this good, Of course, it's not like as practical as they are now, but I just love the way they look, and they have a really ethereal, mystical, romantic quality to them. I can imagine, some characters like on cliffs reaching out to these galleons and waving, or perhaps throwing letters or something like that. So yeah, and I really do hope you like the sea. I've glazed quite a few times on this piece because I really wanted the water to look very intense and like swirling. Those paintings are nearly done, so just like a couple of more layers on the galleon, and probably one more layer on the unicorn, because I just need to see the final details. Next up we have a cat that is actually on the sea as well, and probably the sea is quite rough too, but this cat is really trying to get into this cave. So it's riding that big wave, and it's hoping when it gets inside the cave there will be lots of treasures, and maybe some friends it could make, some trolls perhaps in there, goblins to hang out with, and maybe even some other cats. I'm going to cough. Things are going actually really well, because that was only my first cough so far, so I'm winning. I'm trying to do this really fast because before I have a meltdown. It's so funny because I got this cough and flu from, you'll never guess where, a London train. What a surprise, what a surprise. I think probably like 90% of the flus that I've had over the years have been through public transport. So thank you so much. And in this case, I wish to thank London Transport, because I was in a train carriage and everyone was coughing. So I thought, okay, time to move. So I got up, I moved. I went into another carriage, and there were also people coughing. In fact, I think there were more people coughing in the second carriage. So I got to the third carriage, and by that point I'd just given up, because I knew that, I was going to get it, and everyone was coughing even more in that carriage. Okay, so next we have this character. This girl is going into like another cave. So this is like, there's a theme of caves here. two caves. What I particularly like about painting this particular piece is painting different characters with different hair. I know that sounds really like random, but I find that painting different hair colours to be really fun, because actually when you're painting any type of person, painting their hair is really interesting because you can create so much movement and atmosphere just by painting the reflection on hair. And so it's so nice to vary the colours of hair that I paint, because here, like with red hair, you can get a really beautiful golden reflection. But then here in another painting, I'll just show you, this is like dark hair, but the reflection, that like sort of when the light reflects on the hair, there's sort of like a brown reddish reflection, and that's just kind of the particular light that I've painted. So yeah, it's a really interesting painting different characters, and this, in this case, it's a mermaid and she is waving at this galleon here. It's quite funny because this galleon has no sails, and I was laughing when I was looking at all my paintings because only one of them has a ship with sails actually painted on it. So I've not quite reached that point yet. So it's usually the last thing that I paint, because otherwise all of the other like background is quite difficult to paint around little sails, if that makes sense. Okay, so finally we have this cat, and this cat is a moonlit cat, and this is quite an interesting painting because in terms of the technique, because all the other paintings I've showed you, I've actually done an underpainting with them, and I usually do an underpainting, but in this case I just toned the surface and then I started painting it, so perhaps it's a little bit of a different style. But I wanted to use some create a historical sort of palette for it, to make it look sort of really classical, if that makes sense. So even though there isn't an underpainting, which is a classical technique, I did try to sort of create classical colours. And this cat has fallen asleep, and it wakes up in this magical lab filled with castles and these great stretches of water that it can jump across. These paintings are almost finished, so they should be in my store before the end of next week. So I will be properly updating my store with lots and lots of paintings. There is one behind me as well that needs to be finished, and there's also another one over here. But I feel like I might cough my face off in a moment, so I'm just going to exit this video. Just one more thing though, which is quite funny. I found this when I was like sorting through some things. It's like very eloquently put, but this is a 14 acrylic colours by this brand called Boldmere, the artist's choice apparently, and so I think this is from that really random shop, The Works. Like, you know, if you're from England, you will know what The Works is. It's like one of those stores that is like basically always closing down, and they always have like massive sales, like 70% off, 50% off, and it's kind of bunch of like the most random things ever. It might be like, you know, some classic novels, then like you go past that bit and there might be like sandwich makers, and then there'll be right at the back there's always a mixture of art supplies. The first oil painting that I ever created was, I think, from a set from The Works. I'm almost positive it was, and it obviously said oil paint here. And so I found this, and I've never actually used it because I don't use acrylics that much. I think that the best acrylics that I have ever used and tried are the golden ones, the brand Golden. But these are like a full set. It's quite funny because I was laughing so hard at this because it says like cerulean blue, but like this set was probably, I don't know, like £5 or something, so it can't be proper cerulean blue. It'll be like an imitation cerulean, and there's also like viridian, which I thought was really interesting. But that colour does not look like viridian at all. That is like, I mean, the actual swatch of it, I mean, I don't think it's a real swatch. It's like a, you know, a printed thing, but that's not viridian at all, because viridian is green, so that's blue. So maybe I should do a review of this and make some like a small painting. I think I'm going to do it maybe next week or the week after. I'm not sure. Let me know if you were intrigued, because I feel like everyone in England be good, because as I say, the first oil painting that I ever made was with a set by this brand Boldmere, and actually the oil painting came out decent. Like, I still have it and I still think it's a pretty decent painting, so I don't think it's as bad as one would expect for that price, if that makes sense. In terms of acrylics, I do also use Liquitex, or rather I have it, but it's not my favourite. I find it very sticky, so it'll be interesting to see if this is better than Liquitex, because yeah, but that's more expensive, obviously. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a bit of a long ramble and a bit of a mishmash, and I was like woozy and everything, but hopefully I will be back to normal next week and not talking rubbish, or rather less so. So take care and I will see you soon.